IMBI literally falling on no news. Well, let's go ahead and find out if there's a recovery soon. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this fine Wednesday night. This is ARCa coming at you with an IMBI technicals and raw price action thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCab. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so yeah, I am noticing that there was no news. So if anyone knows of anything fundamentally, just shoot me a comment down below or send me a DM. And I will go ahead and speculate. But thus far, I haven't found really anything regarding iMedia Brands or any bad news or anything. So I thought I found something that said something about a market cap being declined by the NASDAQ, but I'm not sure if that was actually an old review, as everything is dating before December 6th. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just try to look at the technicals and also the price action to see if there's anything at play here, because I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this is really bizarre for IMBI to just immediately switch off like that. So I mean, here on the technicals for the algorithm based from TradingView software, the technicals are actually suggesting a strong sell. Now the analyst rating is suggesting a strong buy. So this is very curious to me here, that we're being suggested a strong buy from analysts, as I do see a continuation to the downside though. So they potentially mean that it could be a great buy zone since it's so low, and we're approaching yet again the 52-week low, which is actually it tells us TradingView tells us right up here somewhere. Well, we're not going to spend too much time on the on that 52-week low. Actually, we can just look at it here. It's probably about 34.93, about 35 cents is that 52-week low. Oh, sorry, the 52-week low is right here, 43.52. So yeah, I actually compared it. I even brought up the SPY to see if the broader markets are part of that capitulation that we're looking at. And in this case, I mean, you can see that that we're running in tandem. You know, we're running in sympathy to the SPY more or less. And, you know, like this is a good example of it here. And today it was just this, it was an inverse reaction to whatever the SPY was doing. So that, yeah, again, that's very curious to me. And I know that there is, hold on just a sec. I believe that we can actually see the potentials of anything that's popping up regarding news or actually nothing's really popping up here. So all right, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next chart so that we can actually speculate more on the price action than we are in news catalysts. Okay, so one possibility. Okay, as you can see, this is actually the descending broadening wedge that we've been looking at for quite some time. And we were able to notice that we did make a breakout on test number 4, and we did come back and test that. We tested that newly converted resistance into support, which is the top trend line of the broadening descending wedge. Let me go ahead and just make the font a little bit bigger here for those who are driving. Or for those who are just a little hard at seeing, so that you can, you know, I can make it a little easier for you to see the digits on the side. Okay, so what I'm speculating here is that maybe IMBI is not done in validating, it's not done in the process of validating the newly converted resistance into support regarding the top trend line of the wedge itself. So if that's the case, then we can, the descent to this would actually be kind of a large one, which is actually in confluence with the 2 fib at 40 cents, 40.61 to be exact. Okay, and it also shares, actually it would be a range between the 2.272 at 38.85, which would be the right, I mean smack bottom, the direct confluence with the newly support from the trend line on the top of the wedge. So that could be a potential a range of support. So between 38.85, so pretty much 39 cents to 40.61 could be the very low of that range. Would actually, and actually this would print a new 52-week low. Okay, if it is the fact that we need to come back and test this the support one more time, there is going to be a bounce here and there though as we capitulate. And the reason I say this is because the one spot 618 located right over here at 43.10, 43 cents. Could likely be an area for a bounce before actually finding some resistance at 45.35 at the one spot 272, and then a continuation to the way down. Okay, so right off just candle analysis and formation analysis, I am noticing a little bit of a formation here, and I can't actually verify that, but I can just show you here. So it would be something like this here. So we have this arc here, and then we have another arc, and then we failed this area here, and we came back up, and then we're making our way back down. Sorry, the drawing is just a little crappy here, but we'll make it another color so that it can be easier to see. There we go. So this particular formation is actually called an Adam and Eve, and it has done its test back up to the to the newly converted resistance now. I'm sorry, support into now resistance, and it is capitulating. So usually when we print a daily hammer like the one that we're looking at right here, it is a bullish statement. However, it doesn't look like it's done. It doesn't look like it's done making that downside continuation, even though the volume profile right down here is starting to look like the sell pressure is diminishing. I do not believe that to be the case, to be honest. So let's actually just bring up some of the Crypstex ARC-Series indicators to see if they can give us an edge. Okay, so right away, the ARC Enhanced MACD is giving us a short signal, and it gave us a short signal right at this candle located on December 9th at 50, let's see, yeah, right at the opening of the candle, which is at 58.99. So 59 cents, it gave us that short signal, and it has since capitulated. So these indicators are actually live now. They're available to you, and just make sure to send me a DM, and I'll go ahead and give you the details as to how to acquire these indicators. Okay, so now let's just continue verifying this. We'll pop up another Crypstex indicator that would be included in the package itself, and this time let's load the ARC-Armor, as Armor actually has buy-sell signals as well. So, okay, Armor is also giving us a short signal printed right at that top candle in confluence with, actually, it's just a little less aggressive. So it actually went just slightly after, meaning the day after. So on the 12th of December, we're getting that sell signal from ARC-Armor, and it's still honoring that sell signal when DBSI actually gave us that sell signal on Friday, December 9th. So yeah, the Monday short signal is still being honored by the ARC-Armor indicator. So now Armor is actually an indicator that's comprised of several exponential moving averages placed very close in proximity to each other. And in doing so, it actually gives us a directional wave of motion, based on those exponential moving averages. And in doing so, it gives us also the long and sell signals. So in this case, you get a long signal goes up, short signal down, and thus it continues. So here in this area, we're actually noticing that there is still a short signal, and we still do not have a long printed at the bottom. So let's get another verification by loading one more indicator, and we're going to go ahead and load up the DBSI, the ARC DBSI, and let's just see if that's also honoring some short signals. So DBSI on the daily has not given us a short, actually it did. It gave us a short signal, it gave us a short signal on Wednesday, December 7th. So this is very aggressive, and it did catch it very much early on before any of this happened. So I'm telling you guys, if you are curious as to what these sell signals and buy signals are giving from the algorithms built within our indicators, please reach out, and we'll go ahead and talk you through the details as to how to acquire these. So the opening of this candle was actually 58.02 on Wednesday, December 7th, and since then it has let's go ahead and just see it. Let's go ahead and just measure how much it has lost based on that short signal. So it has lost 21 spot 52% thus far. Now, another very good thing to consider here is that the DBSI indicator gives us a cumulative score, and it's an average represented by a percentage-based box here of the bears and a box of the bulls. Okay, so DBSI essentially takes a statistical average based on literally counting every single score of every candle present, and it actually represents that averaged mean as this percentage right up here. So in this case, we can absolutely see that the bears are well within control. It is at an 87% versus the bulls at 13%, and it still has not recovered the sell signal, which was fired on Wednesday, December 7th. Okay, so the sell signal would essentially be this little blue circle down here. So yeah, it's going 1, 2, 3. It's going on 5 days and 5 business days, of course, trading days, and there's still no recovery. So definitely a lot of confluence within the short signals being presented within the ARC-Series indicators. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at another reason as to why the downside could have been possible. So what I did catch here were some divergences, and divergence is the opposition of price action versus momentum, and momentum in this case represented by this indicator RSI, Relative Strength Index. For the newer traders, the pink line represents a 14-day period or a 14-day moving average, and the purple line represents the RSI signal itself. So in this case, the opposition of price action versus momentum is this. So we're looking at price action making a series of higher lows and the RSI signal making a series of higher highs. That is actually called, these are actually called 3 drives of hidden bearish divergence. Okay, so you're looking at it right here. I put this diagram here so that you guys can relate to it and make some notes or come back to the video and evaluate how I'm figuring the drives. Okay, so now the fact that we're going through price action to get from point A to point B makes these drives phantom. So in fact, we are looking at 3 primary drives of phantom hidden bearish divergence. Okay, so in this case, it is being honored thus far, and I am starting to see a little bit of a slowing of the pivot right here for the sell pressure. But we do have to note that whenever we're in these shallow areas of either the zones, which can actually be identified right over here via this diagram that I've made for you, whenever we're in the shallow zones or the deep, in this case it's the deep zone, of the bear weakness percentile, the likelihood of us finding a gravitational pull into the opposing zone is absolutely greater. Okay, so that probability is looking like it may actually happen, and also the moving average is suggesting a continuation to the way down as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open up a multi-pane so that we can see a few RSI timeframes to gauge a deeper edge for tomorrow. Okay, so it looks like we may face a little bit of an upside, but the upside is very limited. As you can see here, the RSI signal is using the moving average as a form of resistance before continuing as a guide on the way down. So, and we're also sitting at that very deep area of the bear weakness percentile, suggesting a resistance touch of the moving average, followed by a continuation to the downside. Now, also, the bi-hourly time frame is also sitting at the very deep areas of the bear weakness percentile with the moving average above us, which is bearish. And you can see here several iterations being used as where the RSI signal is using the moving average as a form of resistance before a continuation to the way down. Now, the 6-hour time frame is absolutely suggesting a downside continuation. The moving average is also suggesting a downside continuation. I know the pivot looks like it's slowing down just a little bit, but please remember, when we're in the deep areas of literally either zone, that does imply a gravitational pull to the opposing zone. Okay, so in this case, we're definitely within that deep area of the bear weakness percentile, suggesting a continuation down to the bear strength. Okay, so the daily RSI is what's very much what we're going to, actually, this is going to be what we're going to give the most credit to. All right, so the daily RSI is suggesting an aggressive downside, and now it is attempting to move away from the shallow areas of the bear strength percentile which usually means that the downside continuation is very likely, and as it approaches the deep areas of the bear strength percentile, the likelihood of jumping into the overbought percentile is greater. Okay, so also the moving average is suggesting a downside continuation. Let's look at the buy daily just for giggles. Buy daily is now making a fresh bearish cross below the moving average, suggesting a continuation onto the downside, and it's also just moving outside of the shallow areas of the strength percentile from the bears. Okay, so this is likely going to be a multi-day continuation to the downside. Okay, so yeah, please know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as a form of entertainment only. I need you guys to do your own DD and everything will be fine. Okay, but if you do have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Twitter, on Discord. I'll make sure to leave the links in the description below for you to consider joining the ARCa trading community. Okay, so also if you guys want to trade like I do and you're curious as to how I chart, the link for TradingView is actually in the description below as well. If you create an account with them, that actually helps me out very much. And then we'd be able to potentially share charts actually. So this, as I'm actually in cahoots with TradingView, into trying to figure out if there's a type of sync or a cloud-based update for the charts that I provide. So for example, this chart, you would have exactly my drawings in your TradingView account, of course. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you have any questions, again, hit me up. But until then, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.